Hello Flosstube, I'm Sarah from Sew Me Sarah and you are very welcome here to my channel on Monday the 15th of September 2022. Those of you who are coming back again, I thank you for your loyalty and for your support of my channel, and for those of you who might be new here, I welcome you and I hope that you enjoy what I have to share. Today is Monday the 15th of September, which here in the UK is the day of the Queen's funeral. Queen Elizabeth II was, in my opinion, a remarkable and admirable woman. I think that she led a life of service and devotion and loyalty which none of us could really understand. I accept that she lived a very privileged position, but she also made great sacrifices to family and to her personal wishes and desires on behalf of the nation, and I think that she deserves the honour that she has been given in this period of national mourning. Of course, it's a very private and personal thing, what you think of monarchy and whether there should or shouldn't be. But regardless of all of that, I still think that she is a woman worthy of our commendation and our remembrance at this time. So I will just say thank you, ma'am, for your service. Oh, since the last time, well, it has been a period of national mourning and things have been different here. Television and news and media coverage has been pretty much primarily focused on the Queen and on the transition to our new King, King Charles III. So it has been different, as I said, different time here. And hopefully it will be the changing of eras rather than simply just the mourning of a lost one. It has been busy in private life here. Shays Elwood has been crazy as usual. We are bedding down into the school routine and not enjoying homework experiences and just trying to juggle everything again. You know what it's like. It's always crazy of one sort or another here. We're always making adjustments. I don't think there is anything that settles. That is my wish, that one day things will settle into a lovely pattern, but they just don't seem to be. Anyway, we are just getting on with it. And in the midst of that, I have been able to do some stitching, so I am going to share that with you today. First, a couple of points of business. The first is an apology. Last time when I was showing you my Alice in Wonderland sal, I showed you the sulky threads that I was working with, and I said that you could purchase these sulky threads from the Sulky UK website for 90p a spool. That information was incorrect. Unknown to me, Sulky have put the price up quite considerably, I have to say, and these little spools are now £1.50 each. I promise you they were 90p when I purchased them, which wasn't overly long ago, maybe 6 months ago. So that is quite a hike in price. I guess the price of everything is going up, isn't it? The larger spools, which are called king spools, still seem to be £2.70 for the spool, which is a better value spool, but not every colour comes in that slightly larger spool. Anyway, if you did go and search for sulky and wonder why I was giving you misleading information on prices, it is because since I made my purchases, the prices have increased. I still think it's a beautiful thread, and I don't know comparatively how that value works out, but I do think it's worth the thread price if you like the thread. So anyway, apologies for misleading you with bargain prices that no longer exist. If you happen to know of sulky that is available anywhere else in the UK for a better price than £1.50 a spool, then maybe you could let me know. You can put a little comment in the drop down box below and we can share that information. Next point of business is the giveaway. So I am giving away a little Mill Hill kit in the Autumn Harvest collection called Fall Fun, and I asked you to use the word autumn if you were interested in being entered for the giveaway. There were 45 of you who would have liked a chance to win this kit, but the winner is Stitchin' Darling. So Stitchin' Darling, if you can get in touch with me, drop me an email. My email address is in the information below in the show notes, or you could go to Sew Me Sarah on Instagram and private message me on Instagram and let me have your mailing address, and I will get this in the post to you as soon as I'm able to get to the post office. So congratulations, Stitchin' Darling. And I also then wanted to share with you this fantastic bundle which arrived in a Next Beauty bag. Look at this, look at this bundle of charts and goodies. So one of my lovely viewers, Margaret, very kindly said she had some charts that she could share with me and that I am at liberty to keep them or share them with you as I see fit. So this amazing, I was expecting, you know, half a dozen charts maybe, but this amazing bundle popped through the letterbox last week, or just after my last video, I think, actually. And inside are some little kits. There's a Mill Hill kit, nice one. There are gorgeous charts, a little bit of fabric, beautiful glitter fabric. No, you can't see it. Sorry for the plastic bag shuffling, but if you'll be able to see that in this light, there's the glitter fabric. It is a kind of iridescent glitter, so there are multicolours showing in that. And a little bit of Splash Lugana, beautiful. And more fantastic charts. Satsuma Street, La-di-da, Plum Street Samplers, all of those. So I am going to keep some and I am going to give a lot away over time. So keep an eye out on my future videos for those. Today, in honour of Her Late Majesty Queen Elizabeth, I'm going to give away these two, which are Corgi Caboodle. They're very fitting, I think, given our late Queen's love of the corgis. And Margaret had two of these in her bundle to share. So if you would like a copy of Corgi Caboodle, please use the word Corgi, C-O-R-G-I, in your comment, and 2 lucky winners will receive a copy each of the chart, and I will draw that on my next video. So thank you, Margaret, for your generosity in sharing these beautiful patterns. There's not one of them here that I wouldn't love to stitch myself, but I have to be realistic because I've got plenty of stash myself, and I'm wondering what kind of life expectancy I have. I might need the Queen's long living genes to be able to achieve my stitching. So I'm going to keep some of Margaret's charts and stitch a few of those myself and probably share them thereafter. But the others I will give directly away to you in coming months. So thank you so much again, Margaret, for your generosity. That was a really lovely surprise, and we have very similar tastes, so it was very much fun opening and going through that bundle. So I want to share with you a new floss tuber, and her name is Judy, and she's on the channel name An Aussie in a Kiwi World. Judy is super organized and has over 100 whips, and she follows lots of Facebook groups and challenge groups, and I think that's what I find really interesting about her, is that she will talk about challenges. This is not something I know a lot about. These groups that have challenges to help motivate and inspire your stitching. So it's really interesting to hear her talk about that, and that is something I am looking forward to watching as she goes on. So she For example, she's in a no new starts group for the year, but there's a method to that, and there's a way that you can then prepare yourself to have no new starts for next year. And I'm not making sense of this, but Judy does. So if you are interested in seeing someone with very eclectic tastes, broad ranging, beautiful stitching, and just a very nice person, go over and give Judy some love on her channel. I'm looking forward to seeing, as I said, how Judy interprets and meets the challenges of the different groups that she's in. I think that's really interesting to know about, as I said, because it's not something I am familiar with myself. So I was glad that I had come across Judy's channel, and it was lovely viewing while I was stitching of an evening. So my stitching this past few weeks has been focused on 5 different projects. First of all, I have a fully finished object, and that is my own copy of the Fall Fun Ornament by Mill Hill. I hope you can see that well. So I enjoy these little ornaments. I wouldn't say beading is my favourite, but I don't dislike it, but I'm not sure I really like it enough to want to do a mirabilia, for example. But I do enjoy the beading accents that are on the little ornaments here. So this was a fun one. I hope that Stitchin' Darling enjoys it as much as I have, and I will be able to add this now to my very minimal fall decor, which you can see just behind me on my little cake plate. I have the little cushion, which is A Fallen Leaf is Summer's Wave Goodbye, and just above that I have a beautiful embroidery, which I'll bring closer to show you. And this was a gift from Kathleen at Kathleen's Trodden Trails. I think I showed it to you before when I received that happy mail, but I am absolutely thrilled to be able to have it out now. I love that lady sitting in the window, wistfully looking out, the changing colours of the leaves, having her cup of coffee and her lovely cosy sweater, and it's just so peaceful, and I wish I was her. So that is my beautiful embroidery from Kathleen, and I won't be able to get it to sit upright here now, what do you see? So this will join it, but it won't, well, I'll have to reposition it and make it look better. Yeah. Anyway, so that was Fall Fun. I have another finish stitch, which is No Act of Kindness. I started this in August. I wanted to finish it so that I can frame it for a birthday present at the end of the year. This is a design from Emma Congdon's book, Cross Stitch for the Soul. I love it. I stitched it on 28 count Brittany Lugana in antique white, and I used the called for DMC flosses. No act of kindness, however small, is ever wasted. This is one of those projects that proves to you that backstitch is phenomenal. Backstitch really does do its job in highlighting and adding depth to the wording, to the script, and in all the little flower vines and stems as well. So I'm really chuffed to have this one finished. It will probably just be very simply framed whenever I ever get time to go and find a frame from somewhere, but I've got a little bit of time before the birthday, so hopefully I will get it done on time. It's good to have the stitch finished, and I enjoyed every single cross of that stitch. My next piece that I want to show you is Gather Here by Hello from Liz Matthews. It's this chart, and I was stitching this as my daily thread. I explained before that I use one length of thread So whatever way that thread comes, because some people have asked how long a length of thread is, and I don't have a standard set. So if on this project, for example, I'm using weeks downward glacial melt. So whatever the length of the weeks is, that is the length that I stitch that day. If it happened to be a kit and the lengths of thread were cut a little bit shorter, then it would just be whatever that length is. I don't particularly measure it. I guess most of my lengths of thread would be about 20 inches long on average. But anyway, so that's glacial melt, and I am stitching this on a 32 count Murano in silver grey by Zweigart. And I have made really good progress with the daily thread. I haven't been able to stitch every day, but on the days when I do stitch, I put one thread in, and I've managed to get the bird in and start on these leaves coming over here. I also started to put a letter in. The reason for the lettering was that I was going to take this with me to a friend's house to stitch one evening, and I thought there was no way I could chat and follow the counting for the leaves. I'd be much better to follow the counting for lettering. So I made a start on the lettering to give myself a base, although I didn't actually take it in the end. So that's why there's a random half letter H down there. And let me just see. So one of the nice things, a little bonus that you sometimes get when you're doing a stitch a day or 25/7 or daily thread, whatever it is that you call it, is that occasionally when you do your one thread, you think, oh, I just want to keep going, I want to have another little bit, and you'll maybe stitch for another half hour or something. And I think that's all to the good. It's all to progressing your project. And generally speaking, when I have chosen my daily thread, it is something that I either want to push towards a finish or I want to pick up again because I've been ignoring it for some time. So it's really nice when then the enthusiasm grabs you and you want to keep going for a little bit longer than you had originally intended on that day. So I'm really pleased with the progress of this. You can see from the chart that I just have maybe half a dozen more leaves to do and then all the lettering. So when I say just, it takes quite some time because there's a lot of counting in this one, but it's worth it. Every stitch is worth it. So enjoyed that too. And then I also spent a weekend working on Modern Folk Embroidery, a family patchwork sampler. I am working right in the middle of this design, and I managed to complete the borders of it and get this part of this half stitched as well. So there's the stag has to go in at the bottom and a few little motifs over here, but I got good progress, and I can hold it back a little bit. It's a whopper, this one, but it feels like that central piece is quite a big achievement. So I'm happy with that progress, and I still love stitching on this one, even if it does seem to be taking me forever to do. So that is a family patchwork. Then I had a new start. I did tell you that I wanted to participate in the sampler September, and I chose the Lizzie kit, Things Unseen. It was originally a mystery sampler in 3 parts. I mentioned last time you still need to buy all 3 parts if you're purchasing this. So this is part 3 is the only one that shows you the sampler on the front cover, but you still need to buy parts 1 and part 2. So I started with part 1, and this is my progress. Should probably the white page behind it. There we go. So part 1 is pretty much to about here, and it continues further down. So I didn't finish part 1, but I did continue over on into part 2 in a couple of places. I could be a little bit further ahead with this if I hadn't stitched the top row completely wrong. I think the was correct, and then best, the spacing was totally off in best, and I didn't notice it until I got down here. So I had best and m, and then things in, and when I got to this the, I thought, that doesn't look right, something is not right. I hadn't checked that I was lining up here, and nothing did because I had incorrectly spaced this word best. So whilst I had a tiny tantrum in my head, I stitched in this band, and as I was stitching it, I unpicked this one. So I was able to re-stitch it again. So I'm really pleased. It is wonky on the scroll frame. I can't get it straight, so it isn't that I have stitched badly. It's just that it needs to be pulled up better onto the scroll frame. And this is one of my older scroll frames, so this is the kind that you stitch your piece to, which means I'm not repositioning it because I don't enjoy stitching that piece onto there. Anyway, that is my progress with this Things Unseen sampler. Last time I explained to you that the quote on this sampler, which is "the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched, they must be felt with the heart." And this quote is attributed to Helen Keller. And I mentioned last time that I had always, well, since I was a little girl, had a soft spot for the Helen Keller story, and it was all due to this book. So I forgot to bring the book upstairs with me to show you last time. This was my Helen Keller book from the Scholastic Book Club, Scholastic Book Services, probably back in maybe 1981, 82, something like that, 1981 maybe. A long time ago. So I love this book. There was a little braille, raised alphabet and a braille alphabet on the back. Those fascinated me when I was a child, and a lovely story with some illustrations. I know they look older now, but this book was well read and I loved it. So I just thought I would share the book with you. I know that some of you will appreciate that. You can see it's all faded too, but very precious. So that is my stitching, and that just brings me to what plans I might have for the rest of September. So for the rest of this month, I want to work a little bit more on Things Unseen because it is my Sampler September project. So I've been trying to do 2 days a week on that, or 2 nights a week on that. I would like to pick up Alice in Wonderland and the Oh Holy Night Advent Calendar and Glitter Village, which I haven't touched in September yet. So I'd like to get some stitches in on those 3 projects before the end of the month if I can. And I would like to continue also with the daily thread for Gather Here, because that is making a difference. It is progressing that nicely, and I'm happy with that. So I would also, as I mentioned earlier, really love to catch up with some Flosstube. I watched Judy, but not very much else. I think I've been watching a lot about the Queen and about the new King. So that has, yes, television has called, which doesn't normally. So hopefully I will catch up a little bit, although I think I'm just going to have to call some of it quits because there's just so many episodes of Flosstube out there. And I don't know about you, but everybody's episodes are getting longer and longer and longer, my own included. and I really only have so much time in the day to watch. So whilst I love them all, I just can't actually fit them all in. So I might have to just draw a line and start watching afresh those that I subscribe to. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. I hope that you are enjoying the change of seasons. I am. It is cooling down here and it's becoming more autumnal, but still very pleasant in most cases. So it starts with, you know, bright but cool mornings, and I enjoy that. So if you're changing from summer to autumn, I hope you enjoy it. If you're changing from winter to spring, I hope that that also brings you pleasure. And I hope that you are well and that you stay well and stitch happy. See you next time. Bye.